Especially if you're an Apple enthusiast who likes early annual iPhone updates, Trump's proposed tariffs might affect your life more than you realize. Though its successor might have a very wild price, the current iPhone 16 Pro Max with 1 terabyte of storage already costs an unbelievable $1,599 before taxes. Reuters reports these international tariffs may have an influence from cannabis to running shoes and Apple's iPhone all over. The higher tariffs on China, Vietnam, India, and Taiwan would force the iPhone 17 Pro Max with 1 terabyte of storage, if Apple retains the same maximum capacity for 2025, to cost over $2,300 based on Rosenblatt Securities forecasts. According to BGR, analyst Ming-Chi Kuo believes Apple would have to swiftly focus on boosting production in India and Vietnam to fulfill American demand for the new iPhone 17, including the future iPhone 17 Pro Max. Kuo believes that, should circumstances stay similar, Apple's profits would decline by about 8.5 to 9%, which is quite important for the corporation and its stockholders. Currently, just 15% of international iPhone manufacture is predicted to shift to India this year, up from 10 to 12% in 2024. The analyst writes, Apple could cut the gross margin hit to 5.5 to 6% without increasing prices if India and Vietnam obtain tariff waivers under fresh U.S. agreements, given China's improbable concessions to the Trump administration for tariff exemptions. Granted, Apple generally doesn't unveil its flagship phones until the fall, and the iPhone 16 is just about 6 months old, but it's never too early to speculate on what the following range may look like. There's already been much of chatter about what we may see with the next iPhone, reportedly designated the iPhone 17 from a slimmer version of the next smartphone to a new screen with a quicker refresh rate on basic models. The camera module could also get a revamp, and insiders believe Apple will improve the look and feel of its software with the release of iOS 19. Here's what experts and leakers predict about the iPhone 17 range, which is slated to be launched around September. Regarding what's on the inside, Apple is supposedly attempting to improve its mobile operating system with the release of iOS 19. According to Bloomberg, this includes updating the style of icons, menus, apps, windows, and system buttons. Sources purportedly tell the site that Apple is working to simplify the way users navigate and control their devices, and that the design comes from the Vision Pro's operating system. For instance, Vision OS features more circular app icons and translucent navigation panels. It's likely what you'll see on your future iPhone may more closely mirror this appearance. The software patch will supposedly extend to iPad and Mac, therefore giving consistency across Apple's devices. Bloomberg notes this would be the largest software shakeup since macOS Big Sur's debut in 2020 and iOS 7's release in 2013. The rumors on what frames the iPhone 17 series would feature have gone back and forth, but Pew recently indicated the iPhone 17, iPhone 17 Pro, and iPhone 17 Pro Max will all have metal frames. He underlined that the iPhone 17 Air may be the anomaly with a titanium frame. Additionally, the iPhone 17 Pro Max likely include a narrower dynamic island owing to a smaller Face ID sensor. Dynamic island on other iPhone 17 models would purportedly remain the same size, Pew has stated. One of the major hypotheses is a hypothetical iPhone Air, a thinner version of Apple's flagship device that would replace the iPhone Plus choice. The Air likely contain a 6.6-inch screen, making it slightly smaller than the iPhone 16 Plus and iPhone 16 Pro Max, but still bigger than the normal model, according to analysts Jeff Pew and Ming-Chi Kuo. A Bloomberg piece from March verifies previous rumors and suggests that the iPhone Air may be 5.5mm thick. The speculation also claims the phone will cost around $900, bringing it online with the iPhone 16 Plus and retaining its standing in the iPhone hierarchy. For Apple to reduce down a device, it would need to make hardware trade-offs, and that may include the phone's camera. According to both Kuo and Bloomberg, it's conceivable this version of the iPhone 17 would include only one main camera, doing away the ultra-wide and 5x telephoto lenses that have been trademarks of Apple's premium iPhones for years. This would rank the small iPhone in the same category as the $600 iPhone 16e when it comes to cameras, since that phone has only one rear lens. The good news, however, is that the selfie camera on the iPhone Air could get an upgrade. More on that later. Rumor has suggested all varieties of the iPhone 17 would have a 120Hz display, moving the non-Pro models up from its current 60Hz refresh rate. That would be a nice upgrade, as the difference between the Pro and non-Pro refresh rate is stunning. When Apple debuted the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus with a 60Hz display, there was a bit of an outcry among people who expected more in 2024. This planned version may remedy that and potentially bring the always-on display to the regular device. Apple may perhaps upgrade its ceramic shield display by adding an anti-reflective material that's more scratch-resistant, Mac Rumors reported. It's not an iPhone release without a camera upgrade, and there have been tons of theories about what the camera module may look like on Apple's next phones. In January, a leaked photo from Majin Buu on X suggested the phone may boast a pill-shaped camera bar, virtually duplicating what you'd see on Google's Pixel 9 phone. In February, Majin Buu followed up with CAD drawings of what's said to be the iPhone 17 series, displaying horizontal camera bars, as well as taller rectangular bars on the iPhone 17 Pro variations. I've taken hundreds of images with the iPhone 16 Pro Max's cameras and have pitted them against rivals like the Galaxy S25 Ultra and Pixel 9 Pro XL in the several 200 photo shootouts I've done. It stood up brilliantly against them. But you know what? The iPhone 16 Pro is the one that actually ranks in our best photography phones list. That's because it has the same set of cameras as its bigger, more precious sibling, including the same 12 megapixels telephoto camera with 5x optical zoom. In years past, as with the iPhone 15 Pro's introduction, it was the Pro Max that ended up having the bigger zoom camera. Not this time, however. Camera reports for the iPhone 17 Pro disagree, with one rumor stating that it'll be enhanced to a 48 megapixel sensor, while another implies that it will go down to a 3.5x optical zoom. Just like the current generation, the iPhone 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max will likely have the similar set of cameras, making both of them competent to face any demand. Yet I'm not persuaded by what the small iPhone has to offer. I get how shredding may inject new interest from a design standpoint, but I believe that this would come at a cost. Specifically, it may seriously impair its battery life. The newest iPhone 16 Pro did fairly well in our battery benchmark test, gaining an average duration of 14 hours and 7 minutes. Factoring in how the iPhone 17 Air is likely to sport a larger 6.7-inch display, I'm skeptical that it will gain a better battery life, given the restriction Apple has with space inside of the phone. In February, Kuo predicted Apple will replace out Broadcom's Wi-Fi processors with in-house chips across the iPhone 17 series, saying this would enhance connectivity across Apple devices. It's not yet evident what exactly this would mean, but it would be exciting if Apple's C1 CPU were coupled with its own Wi-Fi chip too. Can you comprehend we're basically less than 6 months away from maybe the next iPhone reveal? After spending more than 6 months with the iPhone 16 Pro Max, I have a firm concept of which new model I'm most anxious to see next. And this is despite the probability of a shakeup that would come with its September iPhone unveiling. This fall's iPhone 17 range is starting to take shape, with models like the iPhone 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max expected to occupy their customary places high up in the lineup. Rumors indicate to the probability of further, more interesting variants hitting the lineup, like an iPhone 17 Air or iPhone 17 Ultra. Don't get me wrong, compact phones surely appear to be the best trend this year, but I feel the iPhone 17 Pro will be the safe pick to go with for most people. I'm basing my pick purely based on the leaks around what we know about the iPhone 17 series, while also factoring in what I've learned from my experience of using the iPhone 16 Pro Max. On the other end of the range, however, it may cost more than the Pro Max, which would be magnificent, but not rare. Slimming down a phone costs money, even if it might come with its own set of sacrifices. That's why I feel that the iPhone 17 Pro would still deliver the greatest bang for the buck value. It's doubtful if it'll acquire the same $999 cost as the present iPhone 16 Pro, but when you factor in how it's reported to get the finest cameras, top A19 Pro CPU, and a sufficiently enormous battery, the iPhone 17 Pro would still finish up giving the best value. There is the matter of the iPhone 17 Ultra too, which the newest predictions suggest at replacing the Pro Max in the lineup. At the very least, I imagine it would have a similar $1,199 initial MSRP, but a raise is also possible. That's because of how it would include a larger battery, which would clearly offer it a longer battery life, as well as a smaller dynamic island cutout and a reworked vapor cooling system. These are all good, but I would rather save the money and stick with the iPhone 17 Pro instead. So, if you loved this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating tech news and updates. Thanks for viewing, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.